Welcome to the first episode of season 2013 in our Ultimate F1 career mode with Christian Waters, our fictional F1 character. If you are stumbling upon the series for the very first time and are really confused about what's going on, check out the first season. It is in the same playlist as this one. If you can't be bothered looking through all the videos and want a synopsis, it is in the description of every video where we're up to in the story. So we in episode 0, we went through the contract that we got for season 2. So basically, we have some pretty harsh KPIs to meet in order for us to be promoted to Red Bull. So the Red Bull team are not 100% convinced by our driver's performance, that he was a little peaky in season 1. And so as a result, basically we have to come 7th in the championship. We have to score more than 85 points. We have to, I think, get to Q3 12 times. And yeah, we have to beat our teammate, obviously, in the season in order to be promoted to Red Bull. So big changes. So I'm just going through the difficulty settings here. I initially actually started the difficulty on expert, and then I've upped it after the practice session. I was pretty much on the pace, although in retrospect we'll see later that was probably a mistake. But we have 19 races this season. We didn't have 19 races last season due to the sheep pandemic, but that's okay. Hopefully we'll get through all of them this time. So we have a new teammate in Jean-Eric Verne. Unfortunately, Daniel Ricciardo was dropped by the team, and he is now reserve driver for Toro Rosso. Let's get to Albert Park and see how we go for practice. Alright, so after we did our setup for free practice 1, these are our first laps in the new car after preseason testing. The handling in F1 2013, as I mentioned in episode 0, is much improved. Like, I do get better feel out of the car in terms of just responsiveness. There is still this weird lag between the steering inputs and what I get in the game. And this is fixed in later games, but really happy to finally be in F1 2013. Like, I think in terms of like the classic F1 games, this is probably the best one. The only other game that really comes close to this one is F1 2020. I think F1 2020 and F1 2013 are like golden era F1 games. They're just fantastic in their own ways, and this is like the last great F1 game in the old Ego engine before they upgrade in F1 2015. But yeah, going out straight away on expert mode, we're pretty much on the pace straight away. The one thing I am slightly annoyed about in this game is that, it is much easier in practice and qualifying than it is in the race in terms of pace. So I think I'm going to be on expert for the races, and then on legendary for practice and qualifying. I think that's the mix that is going to give us the most entertainment and give me the best challenge. If we're going to go for the KPIs set out by the team, in order for us to get to that Red Bull seat for 2014, I want it to at least be entertaining. But yeah, after free practice 1, we're at 7th place, which is great. I'm not exactly on the pace. Like, I'm okay in terms of pacing, but I can definitely go much faster. So it'll be interesting to see where we end up in qualifying 1. So for Q1, I decided to see where we're at, because I know that the AI like to step things up in qualifying, and so I just wanted to set like a base time on the hard tires and just see where we end up, and then if the time is just absolutely shocking, then just move to the super softs. So yeah, in 2013, for whatever reason, it was in Australia the tire choices were the hards and the super softs. I do prefer the way they do it these days, which is like the compounds do change from track to track, but the coloured stripes remain the same. So there's either a soft, a medium, or a hard back in, and as we get further into the series, like the tire compound colors get a bit ridiculous as we cut the corner there and absolutely destroy our first flying lap. So we try again. This time I just don't risk it. We don't have a lot of time, so the first lap I do has to be good. And I'm just worried that the times are going to be good, but the pole time at the moment is 1:27.3, which is not really much worse than what we were doing in practice. So yeah, the AI seemed to be at least off the pace in this practice session as it's going at the moment. As we head through the chicane in the middle sector, just taking a cheeky little cut there. Hulkenberg goes 1:24.2. That is pretty quick. Pretty ridiculous time from him in the Sauber, but let's see what we can do. We're exactly second place, like a second and a half behind him. He's in a Sauber. If you don't remember, the Saubers in 2013 were pretty garbage. So that is, yeah, it's like a whole 2 seconds difference between the two of us. I don't know where Hulkenberg found 2 seconds. And he's definitely not hitting those times now as he's back on track. I just decided that the time was good enough. So we fast forward through the rest of Q1. I'm confident that we'll get through. The guys, in the top 10 are all doing 1:26s, so that's where we need to be. We're on the upper end of that, which is good. So let's see where we end up. So we finished fourth at the end of the qualifying there, and our teammates knocked out Q1 straight away, which bodes well for us. And so I get a little bit cocky and go back out on my scrubbed prime tires for the start of Q2. So let's see how that works out. Coming to the end of scrubbed prime Q2 lap here. Coming out of the final corner and coming up to the line, it's not particularly quick. We only go 1:27.3, which is pretty much what we were doing in practice. And I know that's not going to be enough. The AI are not particularly doing very quick times despite being on Legend. And so, yeah, I have to go out again. And so it's going to be super softs as we go out for one more flying lap. This is going to be our last go. So it has to be good. Otherwise, we are knocked out of Q2. It is important for the KPIs that Red Bull have set us for the seat at Red Bull to get into as many Q3s as possible. And also, obviously, scoring points. So those are basically the two things that I'm focused on. And so, yeah, qualifying, trim, and having a car that's set up for qualifying is almost as important as having a car set up for the race as well. So as we come around the final corner, it is a better lap. Let's see where we end up. we finished 7th. 1:25.6, which is actually much faster than what we did in Q1. So that is pretty good. But the track is getting faster, the AI is getting faster, the order has been restored. Nico Hulkenberg's 1:26.0 is a little bit faster than what he did in the last. Is nowhere near as fast as he did in the last qualifying session. So I don't know where his second and a half has disappeared to, but suddenly he's lost pace. It was the perfect lap of the gods, that Q1 lap that he did. But this is it, final qualifying session. So we go out in our first lap on scrubbed super soft tyres, just to set a benchmark and see where we end up. But we've made our first Q3 of the season, so that is the first of 12 required Q3 appearances down. So we're already making very good headway into the KPIs that Red Bull have set us for that seat. And I think it's clear from Red Bull's point of view that Webber would be the guy we would replace if we're successful. If we're not successful, obviously that will probably put our career on a very different trajectory. So we either are going to be successful at a Red Bull seat or we're not. So I wouldn't want to stay with Toro Rosso for a third year if I could help it. As we come to the end of the lap, it is an alright lap on scrub tyres at 1:25.8. Let's see where everyone else is after that lap, and we are not safe. We are towards the back of the grid. So with our last set of super soft tyres and 5 minutes left in the session to go, I set us back up again for one more tilt, going as low fuel as I can. Let's see what we can do with one more lap in Q3. We're 10th at the moment, which is already well beyond what the team imagined we could do with this car. But we're getting along with it, at least in qualifying trim at the moment. So pushing it as hard as we can, and hitting all our markers and nailing everything. At least on light fuel, we're doing very well here. Let's see what this Q1, this Sector 1 time is. And we are only 4 tenths behind Vettel, but we're 2.5 tenths down, or thereabouts, from our best lap. So it's not a good start. As we skip to the end of Sector 2, we're a little bit up on our time now. And we've got one more sector to go. And this is traditionally not the best sector for myself. This corner in particular is quite hard, but I nail it this time. It is one of the very few times that I feel like I've nailed that corner. As we come out into the straight, it's looking like a very good time. And it is a 1:25.1. That is very good. And I think I had a little bit more in my pocket there. I think looking at those times, we may have been able to pinch fourth based on the difference between. Actually, even fourth would have been definitely on the cards there. But we've starting fifth, which is and we're in front of Mark Webber, which is quite a statement from Christian here in his first race for this season. So yeah, we've got to be happy with that one. All right. It is just before the first race of the season, just checking out the strategy. So we're pitting lap 5. In 2013, just so you know, like the tyres wore like a mofo. There were incidents in real life of the tyres basically blowing up mid-race. The tyres were incredibly soft. So it doesn't surprise me that the used softs that we've got on are only slated to last until lap 5. But it is Sebastian Vettel on pole, which is a big turnaround from last season. Us in 5th. Our teammate Jean-Eric Verne in 17th. We're really showing what can be done with this car, and we're right in between Nico Rosberg and Mark Webber. As the lights go out in Albert Park, it's lights out, and we're off the line. It's an okay start. I've got a bit of wheel spin there, and I've got Lotus of Kimi Räikkönen down my inside into turn 1, as I'm being very careful not to clatter into the back of Alonso there, as we do have simulation damage on. Decide to use rich fuel at the start of this race to defend. I'm going to try and, as I basically take the inside line, and Alonso has a bit of a clumsy corner there. I'm aiming to stay with Alonso as we're taken there around the outside, or are we? No, we're not. We've managed to hold on to the place there. I don't know how. I thought Hulkenberg got us there, but that's all right. He's up to 7th. He is rapid in the Sauber, Hulkenberg, so he's definitely outperforming that car as we had a slide through that turn there. But we have already fallen well behind that leading pack, and this is not good. Last season, we had a big problem with race pace in terms of it not being consistently up there with qualifying pace. And it looks like, again, we are in the same sort of position, which is really quite frustrating. Because, yeah, the Albert Park circuit is one that I know like the back of my hand, and not only do I know it well, but also I am pretty confident in this car. This car is a car that I'm understanding. As we skip forward a little bit to the end of lap 2 and start of lap 3, we have Nico Hulkenberg right behind us, challenging us into T1 here. We can see a good view here. We're starting like a little train here. This is the Christian Waters choo-choo train as we come up to the middle section here, and we block off a move from Hulkenberg, and that lets Massa through in the other Ferrari. You almost forget Massa existed sometimes, but he is still at Ferrari. As I stated in the last episode, he kept his seat, which is impressive for someone that's been underperforming in a Ferrari. But yeah, I use up all my rich fuel mix by the start of lap 4, basically. Took probably a little bit too much curb into T1 there. Definitely don't want to get a penalty given how close we are bunched up in this group. And I go completely wide into T3 there. And now I've got Massa past me, and based on what happened with Alonso, I think there's pretty much zero chance that we are catching Massa, especially on these tyres. They are completely done. And now I've got Hulkenberg right behind me, and our points are slipping away from us. I can see that the guys behind me are much faster. I'm not sure whether this is just generally my pace or because the tyres are playing a role, or what's going on. But I definitely need to find faster pace in the races. The pace I'm getting at the moment is definitely not what we're going to want at this team if we want any sort of success at all. Skipping forward to the end of lap 5, we are going to come into the pits here, and we have these trainer cars behind us. It's not looking good for us at the moment in terms of our race pace. Yeah, it's been pretty shocking as we come into the pits here, and even my entry into the pits is not exactly the best. It is pretty slow. We lose a lot of time going in here as well, as we see a couple of cars ahead of us in the pits already. It is definitely on the cards for a lot of teams right now pitting to get this new view of the pit stop. Looks beautiful. And we're out, and we are out of the points at the moment as our teammate gets in front of us now. And we have to push. We've got to find the pace somehow. The pace is there. Like, we were doing 125.3 in qualifying. I know that I can do a 125.8 or there or thereabouts consistently. I've got to just see if I can find the pace. So we turn up to rich fuel as we go a little bit wide there and give looks like Hulkenberg there another chance around the outside. He's looking everywhere. He's looking left, he's looking right. We cover him off and live to fight another day, but only just. At least on merit, at least in speed, we certainly don't deserve to be in front of him. He's like less than a second behind us. That is terrifying. But now we're 15th place, so this is not like fighting for points or anything like that. So yeah, this is the end of the 6th lap, and again I just outbrake myself, and Hulkenberg gets us around the outside as I have a tank slapper into the final corner. There's a few people in the pits. We overtake 2, 4, and then another 2 right there as I duck around the outside of the Williams, and I've got Esteban Gutierrez right in front of me here, right in the first points of pain position, and I don't go for it. I back out. I could have sent it there. I think there was an opportunity there as I have another tank slapper, and Bottas goes around us. We've been mugged for 12th place, and we are out of the points, at least not only just on track, but also just in terms of pure pace. We eventually move up to 11th because of some more pit stops, but it's not looking well for us. We definitely don't have the pace. We're starting another train behind us, and this time we're not even fighting for points. We're just fighting for our ego and our status in the team. We obviously, as we set our best lap yet, not even on the softest tyres. Perez going deep into T1 there to get us, and I just know that once he's in front of us, there is 0% chance I'm catching him up. But yeah, this is absolute proof that I'm out of my depth in terms of the difficulty. I think legendary on at least in race pace is a no-go. So I'm going to put it down 1 just for the racing. So at least our qualifying position and our race position are at least somewhat consistent. I try to squeeze as much rich fuel mixture as I can out of the car as we skip forward to lap 11 here. But the rest of the race is pretty standard, and there's nothing much we can really do. We don't have the pace to catch the guys in front, and we barely have the pace to keep the Force India of Adrian Sutil behind, let alone the other cars as well. So yeah, it's definitely not boding well for us at the moment. Here we go. Sutil is going for a move around the outside into T1. It's bold. It's brave. We try to squeeze him out, and we do. We're fighting for the place here, and both Force Indias are right up our chuff here. Durasta has now taken Sutil, and we just take the middle line, and we go fully defensive going into this middle section here. But it's not good. All the pace we had in qualifying, all of our speed is just suddenly gone. Which is really bad. We're just not driving fast enough. We just did a 1:29.2. That is shocking. Absolutely shocking. I can't for the life of me think about or understand where this pace is going. But it's not going to work for us. If we keep driving like this, there is 0 chance we get into Red Bull. As Duresta is forced off the track, goes to the overtake and gets us right on the final lap. It's not Duresta, sorry, it was Sutil. But yeah, he gets us on the final lap, and I just know I don't have the pace. I just know I don't have it. I don't know if I'm driving differently or what's going on, but it is shocking. I am not driving as fast as I was during qualifying, and I have no clue why. Lewis Hamilton wins the race. It is the first race win for Mercedes since they returned to Formula 1. And the reigning world champion opens his 2013 account with a win. Has he made the right choice? Is Mercedes the right place to be? I mean, the McLarens are just nowhere by the looks of it. And the Mercedes is definitely faster than the McLarens. And it looks like Lewis has just hit the stroke of genius in his move. He's definitely picked the right place as we're fighting off the rest to coming into the last corner there. We held on to P13 for dear life there. No points for us. That is a shocking finish. But it is on pace. Our teammate finished 18th by comparison. So can we really be that mad about that finish? Probably not. but it is definitely not going to help us in our journey to get a Red Bull seat, that's for sure. But 13th is as good as I can get. The thing that annoys me is that we were actually slower, much slower. I just don't know where our pace went in that race, to be honest with you. Yeah, I just got to show up better for the races next time. But yeah, Scuderia Ferrari #1 in the standings in the constructors, and Mercedes is second, as the team just asked me what the hell happened and where the hell my pace went, and I've got no bloody answers for them. Don't know who this guy is. It's probably my mechanic. The camera's out of here, boys. Christian's crying. But yeah, that was a pretty disappointing first race of the season. Definitely need to get better if we're going to succeed in getting a contract from Red Bull. But next is the Sepang International Circuit, so we're going back to Malaysia. Not really a track that I'm particularly good at. Like Australia, like the Albert Park Circuit is one that I am good at. So surprised I didn't do as well, but what goes around comes around sometimes, and I just had an off race. But we've got to get it together this year. This season is the most important season of our career, and if we don't get it together, then we have no hope. But I'll see you guys next time.